All right, we have a PS5 and it's kind of huge. Let's plug it in and see what it does. I think it said no power, so. Well, the power supply is definitely getting power. It does nothing. Absolutely nothing. So how do you take this apart? Hey, that was simple. I paid, I think, like $190 for this. I can't tell. I don't know how you know if it's been open or not. Alright, so I need to find the bits to take this thing apart. Alright, took a little prying, but I got it off. I see what the problem was. Okay, so where 12 volts should come in here, and probably this is the other side of the power supply, so most likely 12 volts should be present here, right? So let's plug in power. I don't have anything that can short out. I heard a pop, so that's probably a good indication we have 12 volts. No, we don't have 12 volts. And I'm pretty sure we should have 12 volts there, right? I don't see any sort of damage. We don't have 12 volts. But I can't determine if this is shorted until, I guess I have to. How do you take the power supply out of this thing? Okay. All right. Let's see if we get 12 volts now. We do not. We do not have 12 volts, so the power supply is bad. I mean, if I take this, let's take that out. Let's check our board to ground. And it's definitely not shorted. I don't know what a good reading on a good one is, but that seems good. So yeah, it looks like potentially the problem is our power supply. So how does this come out of here? we have whittled the problem down to a power supply that's not outputting 12 volts. And I'm assuming that 12 volts should be present at all times, right? I'm assuming it should be present at all times. I don't think it's like the other ones. So, but at the same time, I want to make sure that I'm not chasing my tail. Let me make sure just one more time where it is. How do you plug the sucker in? Like this. Yeah, it's not putting, and it should be putting out 12 volts if I'm not mistaken. Perhaps I should just order another power supply just to make sure. 400 DR. So I think I'm going to go off of the premise that this thing should output 12 volts automatically. That is the premise I'm going to go with. Let's see how easy or difficult this thing is to disassemble. Goodness. Alright, it should be safe to handle now. Alright, let's check the fuse, which I presume is good. And it is. Let's flip it around. Here's a big fuse. It's called R9, but I'm pretty sure that's one of those radial fuses or whatever. And it looks like it's good. Are we shorted on any of our MOSFETs? Wait, hold on a minute. Hold on a minute, let's look under the microscope. So are these fuses right here, man? And it says FB1. So FB6. These can't be fuses, bro. D11, FB5, 2. Are these like some kind of special? I mean, those look like MOSFETs. It says D11, right? So that's LTOB. LTOB19. So that is an N-channel 600 volt MOSFET. Okay, all right. So that's a MOSFET. And then this thing right here, what is this? LT0B. LT0B. So it's a diode. It is used for rectification. Okay, so that must be the D11. Seems good. Okay, so it's been a few days and I did some thinking. I did some researching. And I did some probing. And one of the things I've been probing is this chip right here. So if I put this on, I think my meter's not correct. Maybe it is correct. All right, so red probe on ground. I checked the very first pin on this chip, and it's shorted. And I've checked some of the components around this chip, and they are not shorted. In other places, it reads perfectly fine. So I know I was watching Toltec Merc, and he kind of, he's a power supply expert, and so in any event, I ended up buying another power supply. In the interim, I'm gonna see and hope that the only problem with that Xbox was the power supply. So as usual, I messed up the audio, so essentially I put that new power supply in, and I'm going to turn it on and see if it will boot and show anything on the screen. So that's my goal. And see if it'll boot up. And as you can see, it does in fact boot up. It has some kind of code. So yeah, all in all, it was a pretty simple fix. I was a little confused just because I was like, it's not going to be that simple as being the power supply. Unfortunately though, trying to find that chip for a reasonable cost to replace is difficult, so I just selected to put the other power supply in there. But I think that chip is bad, so anyhow, y'all be good.